Welcome to Lunch Pail Hockey. It is August 28th, 2020 here on episode 3. Today featuring President Grant Miller, producer Austin Cara, gambling expert and hype man Mitchell Zerniak, and myself, our host for the evening, Trenton Dunn, and one special guest from Chicago, Illinois. From Simi Valley, California, currently residing in Chicago, Illinois. Jonathan Radman Katz. Johnny, how are you?
Isn't he from Pittsburgh, though?
Hey.
He is from Pittsburgh. Well, he's from a lot of places. How would you identify, sir?
It's whichever my professional sports teams are doing the best. That's
There we go.
Very honest answer. You love that.
But dude, honestly, it's awesome that you guys are doing this. I honestly think you guys got something good going, and it's an honor to be here. So. Shabbat shalom to all my fellow Jews out there.
Hey, Ohio.
Absolutely. And give Gary and Lynn our best. Will you tell them to subscribe and be supporters of the podcast?
You know Gary will do it.
He will. He will. So this Friday night, no hockey, but understandable here from our team at Lunch Pail Hockey. Respect and support and understand and honestly proud of the united front that the NHL has taken against some of the social injustices that we've seen. And we look forward to seeing that resolve and moving forward to the next time that we can see the puck on the ice when it may be appropriate.
If you're pissed off that the guys aren't playing tonight, it's very telling.
Sure.
And I don't need to say that. As the guy that kind of probably leans the most conservative here, when I first heard that there was no hockey on, I was bummed out, but I still get it. I do think.
I won't lie. I miss hockey playing tonight. I definitely do.
Dude, it would have been a hell of an Avs game on right now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
I get it.
Yeah.
I get it.
Yeah.
Totally understand.
The best comparison I got, and I was struggling with how to formulate an idea because I respect players' rights as a union guy. I respect players' unions to strike and to understand their leverage. I think that is a very positive to come out of this, but it is greater. The cause is greater than just that. And I was trying to figure out how to formulate that. Just was listening to kind of Columbus Sports Talk Radio this morning. And they kind of equated it to flashpoints in society where you have to realize you need to rebuild things. And I think this is kind of one of those moments in time and a way for us to realize that things are messed up is when the normalcy and the normal structures that we take for granted cease to exist. And for a lot of people, that is sports.
Sure, yeah, especially now.
Yeah, for sure. And
Grant, honestly, what you just said, just let it write that on live. That's good.
All right, Johnny, opinions, just want your thoughts.
Guys, this is your show, and however you guys want to frame up what's going on in the world, that's completely up to you. I think the way Grant described it is well articulated. At the end of the day, this is a really hard time for our country. It's a really hard time for a lot of people, and it's been a really hard time for a lot of people for a long time. And it's certainly mostly people that don't look like a lot of us. And so if there's any way for us to be able to take a step back and really only focus on one or a lot of issues that are going on and not talk about, hockey or basketball or baseball for 48 hours, right? I'm hopefully something good can come out of that. But it's, to not belabor the point, it's really hard right now for a lot of people, and it's a really sensitive subject. So, and it's something that we can't, necessarily relate to as people who are not of color. So you just have to listen and try to do better because we all need to do better.
Exactly what I wanted that man's opinion.
Johnny said, anything we're feeling right now is the confusion, a lot of people have felt like this for years, and it's just kind of coming to the forefront because it is affecting the like I said earlier, the normal things we take in our life. When there isn't sports on, you have to pay attention to other stuff. When it's people you respect and when Evander Kane talks about these things, I listen. When Anthony Duclair talks about these things, I listen because I already have put those guys on a pedestal because I look up to them as athletes and young men. So it's one thing for them to talk about the hockey or the locker room. Well, what's society like? And that's the platform when guys talk about like using the platform for social justice. That's what they talk about. Because I'll be honest, outside of sports, do I really have my ear to the ground on news? No, but when things, not as much as I should. So when these things do infiltrate sports, that's kind of when it resonates more. And maybe I have to do better. I do have to do better on that, but I think that's why it's important for these guys to care about this stuff and use their notoriety. Yeah.
And the whole purpose of them postponing the games in the first place is to, like you said, disrupt that normalcy and just raise awareness because people are like, why isn't hockey on? Well, because there's more important issues going on in the world that needs attention. So.
And that phrase raise awareness is thrown around so much that I'm kind of numb to it as just a product of that. But then this really does, and it's much more broad than just being cops are bad and racism's bad. It turns into things get weeded out. And I know this is a different sport, but this is kind of an interesting consequence of this. Is in the MLS. So Trent was talking about the other sports. MLS, some of the teams played and some teams didn't do this week. And this owner for the Salt Lake City team basically just outed himself as just a piece of shit. So his team didn't they didn't take the field. They're we're gonna stand with our friends and colleagues and other sports to draw awareness to this. And this guy's basically just a rich curmudgeon that just can't understand this, and he sees his sports team as a toy almost. It was I feel incredibly disrespected that my employees didn't show up to work, and now he's locked the team out of the facilities. Last I heard, maybe that's changed since today. I haven't checked into it, but when those things come to the forefront through this, then that's how progress can be made. Because then you kind of weed out the bad apples, which is you don't like to have to do that, but it's important. It's kind of we see it happen with Donald Sterling, and that was a different thing entirely. But the guys making the calls in the sports leagues that we enjoy probably are the ones that can also make the most difference in a society, in society. So if sports are the way to convey that message between kind of classes and social structures, then it needs to be done in that way because it bridges everything. Everyone loves sports, no matter where you come from, what you do.
True.
There's a connection there, and that's what we're seeing right now.
So true, Grant.
Well said indeed, Grant, and Johnny as well. I think that that pretty much sums up our thoughts here on Lunch Pail Hockey on the matter. Obviously, we throw our full support behind the NHL players and their decision to make a stand for some injustices that are occurring in this country currently. And so, moving on from that, is there, Trent, what other topics do we have on the docket for tonight? Because I know it's been a hell of a week for hockey. So, on to Trent.
Today we've got a lot of good topics of discussion. This week in hockey, entertaining to say the least. We've got some fan mail, if you will, out of the southeastern portion of the United States. Looked like from Louisville, Kentucky. Got a question from Richard Dunn. Who is your playoff MVP to date? So, wanted to start off with fan mail today. Who is your playoff MVP to date? I'd say we start with Mitchell. It's a short sandwich. Maybe I'll come back to we'll go to Grant. We'll go to Grant.
It's Braden Point, and frankly, it's not even close. It hurts me to say that because he kind of threw a couple of nails in the Jackets' coffin. But, yeah, I mean, without Stamkos, he's kind of carried that team. I kind of was looking at that series. We can harp on the Jackets for the rest of the year. I don't want to do that, but I've been very impressed with Braden Point as a player. Not that I wasn't originally. Like, there was kind of a weird moment this offseason where, like, I believe he was an RFD. I don't want to be wrong on that. I got cap friendly, but like, it wasn't like completely set in stone that he was going to come back. I mean, they were in kind of turmoil. Not turmoil. Things didn't end well for them last year. And he's just kind of came up. We talk about a lot of times as a group, guys that raise their performance in the playoffs. And that, as hockey more than anything, that's how you remember. That's how rivalries are born at the playoffs. Legends are born in the playoffs. Point's kind of getting to that quote. He's getting to that point. Pun completely intended there. So if they keep this going, it'll be because of him. And I personally, I think that's the answer.
You would almost say legends are born in the playoffs. That would make them
Some
special.
might say that. Some might say that special players respond.
They're special.
And I'll throw you a bone here. Not one of those guys is Nathan McKinnon, but I think I'm gonna go Point. But like there are guys that raise their productivity.
So, no surprise to anyone. I guess I'll jump in on that since it was a smooth transition. Nathan McKinnon is my answer for current MVP of the playoffs. Just broke Joe Sakic's record, which is a great record to break, with 11 straight playoff games with at least 1 point. Pretty impressive considering the resume that he has built consistently through this playoff series. Obviously, the Avs meeting a tough Dallas team that we're going to get into here later in the show. But as far as one player goes, Nathan McKinnon seems to be a Hemi engine right now and doesn't seem to be slowing down. And I'll hand it over to Austin Cara for his MVP.
MVP of the playoffs right now. This might sound so far. This might sound a little unconventional, and it pains me to say it, but I'm going to go with Carter Hart from the Flyers.
Ooh.
I think he's
stepped
up to the plate quite well, and I think with him in net and the offense produced by the Flyers, that they have an excellent shot going to the Stanley Cup, and I think if they do, he will be a major part of that. So, and he's already proven himself this week that he's capable of playing good goaltending.
I think if you recall last week's episode, a lot of us picked the Islanders, but all of a sudden the Flyers got that overtime win. Big change now. We'll get into all the matchups here soon. I want to go to our guest picker, but real quick, guest picker's pick sponsored by Amory Donuts. Buy a dozen glazed donuts, get a chocolate milk free. Amory Donuts here in Amory, Mississippi.
Nothing goes better with a donut than chocolate milk. Sorry, go on.
Hey, I mean, you can't go wrong.
You can't.
Johnny?
Yeah, I'm going to throw one out here and really hoping this team is in the playoffs. But Mark Stone.
Yeah.
Mark Stone's team 8 in the playoffs. The Vegas Golden Knights. That's actually a great pick.
That's a great pick.
Yeah.
Awesome job.
That's a real great pick.
Thank you.
Mark Stone, actually, Johnny, let me help you out, seems to be on the ice every other shift. Are you taking a shot?
Oh, I'm just
when in Rome.
I'm just so proud of myself. I'll tell you, Mark Stone.
You look like a shot glass.
He's a ton of fun to watch, man. Mark Stone.
Yeah, absolutely is. The stats don't tell the whole story with Stoney. You gotta see it.
They don't.
So that's a good way of putting it.
His Corsi 4 is insane.
Yeah, he puts a ton of pressure on the puck in not 2, but 3 zones.
Johnny, do you want to come on full time?
Do you want to come on full time? Oh my God.
That was legendary.
All right, Mitchell, you ready?
Yeah.
Hey, Kiski.
Hey, after eating that glorious piece of pizza, frozen pizza, thought long and hard about it. And you have to give it up for the captain, Jamie Benn, who is right now stunning the Avs right
Oh.
now in this series. Scoring a lot of goals. I don't know if he's actually scoring a lot of goals, but they're doing pretty damn well. And ultimately, this is right now being an upset. So I'm gonna go with Jamie Benn, captain of the Dallas Stars. How do you feel
Interesting
about
Good
that?
pick.
I've
It's not
got
a
a
bad
different.
It's not bad.
It's not a bad take. I've got a different Dallas Star in mind that I'm going
There
to
you
get to
go.
later as well.
Yeah, it's one of those things like, oh, this team's doing well. I'm just gonna. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not just going to hand it to the captain just because he's the captain. I think
Yeah.
somebody is clearly head and shoulders above the rest on that Dallas Stars team. But we're going to get to that here.
We'll get
This
to
week
that.
in hockey, we saw a lot of drama. We saw the Flyers win in overtime. We saw the Stars essentially stun the Avs. We saw a game in that series that saw 4 lead changes. Talk to me about the most dramatic moments of the week. Grant Miller.
For me personally, it kind of starts and ends with that Avs Dallas series. I mean, that's the one I've had my eyes on the most. I do want to quickly shout out the Flyers Islanders series, that overtime game. I guess it had to be Wednesday, right? That was a solid game all around.
Yeah.
But the Avs Stars, I mean, you got to take the full picture. I think we love the playoffs because, like, you know, it's a full story over the course of the games. The Avs had to win that one. And when they had that lead and the Stars came roaring back, man, I was like, this is gonna be it. I mean, that is the moment where, you know, the Avs we were gonna learn who the Avs were. They're gonna be a team that can just boat race the kind of the lower levels of the NHL and the Western Conference, or are they going to be able to kind of dig deep? And we saw them dig deep and not even miss a beat after losing that lead, man. I mean, and it was the speed we've talked about. It was the one-touch passes. I mean, they didn't lose their identity for a second. And I was so stoked to watch them kind of get through that. And that was – we'll dig into the special – Canucks later, but I do just I can't even. There's no bit here. That Avs comeback, and like we're Avs guys right now, and like it was awesome to see. It was really cool.
We are.
I agree.
My dramatic moment of the week, because you know, we're going to talk matchups later, and I can't wait to get into that matchup. But my dramatic moment of the week comes, I believe it was Wednesday night, Vancouver versus Vegas. Vancouver has a 2-1 lead, but essentially Vegas is dominating the play. I mean, it's only a matter of time before they tie it up. And then Vancouver wins a face-off. It was one of those fortunate face-offs. It was in the offensive zone, and it was a break for them, honestly, because it had been an onslaught from the Vegas Golden Knights, who clearly is, I think, the more talented team. But a slick pass. I would say the more special team as well. A slick pass across what's called the Golden Road, across the center of the ice to tell me if I'm saying this name wrong. Elias Peterson.
Yeah.
I know.
It was a
slick move around the goaltender. Was it Leonard?
Yeah,
Leonard.
I think they go
Yeah.
Fleury next game, but it had to be.
I think they go Fleury as well. That's another good topic, but I think they go Fleury as well. But Pedersen beat them to go up 3-1, man. And honestly, it was a game that Vancouver was fortunate to still be in, yet they had a 3-1 lead, which almost makes you think that they're a special team, Grant. Johnny, just so you're aware, the term special is being tossed around a lot. Because last week's episode,
it just applies to one team. It's not a lot. I'm not. I just think the Canucks
ended with Grant and I in a feud.
Hey, real quick,
what makes a team special?
Trent? Yeah, can you define?
Slinging out the term.
Can you define special for us? Really
I
quick?
said you can't just sling out the special term because you sound like the YMCA. I said
there's nothing wrong with the Y, by the
special
way.
is
I don't
earned.
like this slander.
I don't think there's anything wrong, but I don't want a participation trophy either. Like if they're special, they need to earn it. I don't think anyone's special. Oh my God,
Yeah.
he's got a YMCA tag.
Yeah, I work out the Y. I don't see why you got to disparage. It's a good institution. They do a lot of great things.
Yeah, hand out a lot of trophies. All right, who's next? Most dramatic trophy or most dramatic moment of the week? Or maybe not dramatic, most game-changing moment, pivotal moment. Mitchell.
I don't think it's a game-changing moment. I think it's a series-changing moment, and that's the
Ooh.
Lightning beating the living S out of the
Yeah.
Bruins.
Yeah, they
So
blew
bad.
the wheels off the
That's
wagon.
good.
I think we got Lightnings in 5.
Doors off the barn, baby. Doors off the barn.
Lightnings in 5, my friends. Lightnings in 5.
Yes. There's a momentum swing down there on the east side, and yeah, Lightning are coming, man.
Yep, 100%.
Noticeable.
I think we all agree, but like, let's just be clear here. If the Bruins win the next 2 games, I'm not going to be surprised because it's the fucking Bruins, and like, that's
Disagree.
just. I listen. I don't really like either one of these teams, but this Bruins team is built to be resilient, and they're built to respond well for adversity. I know we've already covered what's going on right now with the league. I don't want to make light of it, but it is a gap of games, and we don't really know what's going to come. Like,
That's a fair point.
That has to be brought up, and there's bigger things. Everything we're dealing with is more important than hockey. Yes, I agree with it. There will, like, when things restart, and there's been multiple restarts this year. Like, I don't know. Like, and then the other side of this is the Bruins were really bad after the first restart. Granted, it was longer, but like, there's gonna be a different energy to things. I don't think that's controversial to say. I think there is some truth to that.
I agree.
So,
Johnny,
I don't know. That's a weird series. That's gonna go 7 games. I don't know.
So
Johnny, do you have a thought? If you don't, it's okay, brother.
yeah, I mean,
He did so well in the first one, though. Let's see what he's got.
I wouldn't say these are dramatic or game changing, but you got the Coyotes,
Okay.
getting their hands
They're
slapped.
Hold on, let him go. Let him go. See where he goes with it.
They got their hands slapped. I mean, you're testing players before the combine. You can't do that. You just
He's got a great point.
he's
He's got a great point.
You got one team who's
I'm
going
sorry.
nowhere but down, and the other team wasn't there a lottery this week? Like didn't
Yes. Not this week, but
Yes.
yeah, there was a lottery.
Yes.
It was the Rangers,
Yes,
right?
there was.
Is that right?
Yes. Oh my
Yeah,
God.
look at Johnny here.
Absolutely.
Great. I mean,
Rangers.
it's just a big moves for some teams that need some help. And
Yeah.
one team that
Hey,
gives
Johnny.
them away.
Johnny, how did the Red Wings do this week?
No, he's doing a great job.
Don't
He
quiz
is.
him. Don't quiz him.
You gotta
He's
let-
right, though. The Coyotes, guys, they're losing their second this year. They're losing their first next
Dude.
year.
Yeah,
That's a big deal.
Yeah.
Johnny, thank you.
that was
Guys, that's a-
dude. We're seeing corporate America at work. This is how you climb the corporate ladder right here. Is just hitting your points.
Grant, it's
being
all
likable.
about preparation. That's all. it
Yes.
is.
Yes.
Do your homework.
All it
The
is.
rest will take care of itself.
Yep.
100%.
No, that
Johnny,
was an amazing job.
Cates, open for hire. Guys, any corporate business that Jonathan Radman Katz is there to increase your business revenue.
Can we kind of
guys-
expand on that? Because I do want to bring up, I don't know, like, they were legitimately cheating in a way that I think most hockey fans don't see that as an advantage.
Grant, take
Yeah.
it away, brother. Hey,
Are
this is
the-
a
are the
breakaway.
Coyotes-
Grant is on a breakaway. Grant's on a breakaway. Go, Grant.
Are the Coyotes the new New England Patriots?
No, because like the
No.
Patriots actually won.
No,
But this is
No,
what's
no.
interesting.
You gotta win. You gotta win to do that.
No,
Yeah.
but that was funny because like it's a team that really hasn't accomplished a whole lot, and I say that as a fan of a team that hasn't either. And so like I do kind of like always root for the Yotes in a way, regardless. But like they were basically just acting like the
anymore.
rules didn't apply to them. Yeah. They're operating in a way that the rules didn't apply to him. And kudos to the NHL. I think this investigation started back in like January. I don't know if I might be wrong, but it's been a while. And they did the homework and interviewed like prospects. And I said, like, what happened here? What'd you do here? And it just basically turned to the Yotes just being like, oh, no one's going to care about this. We'll work these guys out for like 6-8 hours more than we should.
It was in February, I believe.
Yeah. Okay, there you go. And it was just like, they were just, I don't know. I don't know if it was like their scouting was just like, we need to know more about these guys and it means more to us because we have to go through the draft. Like, I don't want to speculate on that, but like, everyone's got like rules to like operate by, and they were just like, nah.
The question is, in my mind, being somebody who I would describe as a novice hockey fan, I see a Patriot get caught. Teams get caught. We all know all the teams are cheating in some way, shape, or form. Is this something that's happening with every team, and the Coyotes just suck at it? Or is
that's very good speculation. I doubt it. I don't know. Trey, you might know more about this.
You doubt it? I don't doubt it. I bet it happens all over.
Okay, you kind of have a little bit more of an inside edge on these things, just from your background. But like, yeah, maybe they just don't have the guys in the room that can cover it. I don't know.
I'll say this: like, D1. Coming from working at like a D1 hockey school, you get to know some things. NHL is not college hockey, obviously, but
it's a pipeline. The
pipeline, exactly. And Joe Sakic was at games. There every single game had some kind of scout from the NHL that I would welcome to their seat. We're not going to get the names, but it is what it is. There's some questionable things, and it is what it is. It's Yeah, I 100% agree with Johnny. I think he brings up a great point. So glad we had him on this week. I don't know. It's a question to be raised. Mitchell, Kiski.
What was the question?
I think we can move on. I think we've beaten this down. This is a good conversation.
All right.
Yeah. Good job.
That's fine. He's
line chemistry. We just tried to find Mitch, out of the defensive zone, and he just went for a line.
I feel like Mitch took an edible like an hour ago, and it's just hitting him.
Yeah.
He's busy eating pizza.
As a guy that's really hungry, it sucks to watch Mitch eat right now.
All right. So we're gonna get into a couple staples of the show. To our giant base out there on Sirius XM Radio, just real quick, this next segment, Hypothetical GM with Grant, sponsored by Hidden Creek Ranch. For all your party needs this summer, give us a call, Hidden Creek Ranch. Now, coming on this corner of the segment, Hypothetical GM with Grant, we're going to be looking into speculation of free agency, trades, any moves that any team could make that would possibly makes sense coming up on this offseason. Maybe not even this offseason. We saw a trade this week that I'd like to get into as well. And if that's what you want to discuss, it's fine.
We can naturally move into that because I do think the Leafs and the Pens as a whole are very interesting. But I do just briefly want to kind of bring up a couple of like the notable UFAs that's more exciting. I don't know. I think like RFAs are kind of more exciting, but like, UFAs kind of get the most run. There's some goalies that I don't think are going to end up with their current teams that I think it might just be interesting to talk through maybe where we see them land. And I'll just kind of start off with the guy I have in mind, which is Braden Holtby. I don't see him playing anymore.
That's what I was going to say.
I don't see him playing anymore in Washington. We kind of talked. I really hammered the Caps last episode.
Yes, you did.
Yeah, and I don't know. I don't want to get into that, but whatever their plans are, I don't know what they are. I don't know if they have Holtby in them, and I was thinking of interesting landing spots for him, and I think it's gonna have to be a team that kind of sees their windows closing and they have to go for it, and I think a team in that realm would be Calgary. I think they're the pressure's on up there, and I think they see them as they need to get the most out of fucking old Johnny Gaudreau as they can, and the back ends. I mean, they have bigger issues than goalie, but we've seen a lot of teams that just kind of duct tape the whole defensive issue with a big name goalie, and hope he's going to be that type of guy. I mean, he's only 30.
Well, I think the Flames are a team that you got to look out for. I think they might make a bad decision this offseason. I think they're kind of I think they're kind of scrambling and seem kind of panicky. You could totally see them dealing Johnny Gaudreau or Sean Monahan. Yes.
Yeah. I will say this.
Totally
yeah.
Dealing either of those guys.
I want to stick to UFAs because I think it is more fun than just throwing out trades. I just think it's right now where we're at. But I wouldn't hate a move that my team, the Blue Jackets, might make because we got a couple really good goalies. If we threw one at Calgary for one of their high-named scorers, I wouldn't hate that.
Well, hey, Grant, speaking of goalies,
right, so on this,
Pittsburgh, we're going to get rid of either Jari or Murray.
Really?
Yeah.
100%.
Rutherford has come out and said that we're probably going to get rid of one of them.
You. Yeah, damn. Are those guys under contract? Does it have to be a trade? Or is Jari RFA? No, Murray's an RFA.
Yeah. I think so. I have to double check.
Yeah.
No
Jari,
way.
that would make Jari's RFA, dude. Yeah, because that was
No, dude, Jari is. There's no way Murray still is. There's no way.
Dude, he's 26. He's only played 4 years. Like that. Like him and Josh Anderson have the same contract they got.
God, I love Josh Anderson.
I know.
All right.
I'm on Cap Friendly right now, and it says he's an RFA. He's expiring.
On this hypothetical GM with Grant, you're the GM of any team. What move are you making that makes sense? And if you want to offer me a trade.
No, that's a little too vague. I think you're.
It's not too vague. Pick a team. What move makes sense?
I don't know. I'm Calgary, and I'm putting in for Matt Murray.
You need Braden Holtby.
No one needs Holtby. No one needs Holtby.
Yeah, they do. Of course they do. A lot of teams need Braden Holtby.
Okay, well, who do you got in mind? Nashville?
Potentially. Brittany's not getting any younger.
Yeah. It's gonna be teams that feel like they have to go for it, but I feel like the teams I don't know, man. The teams that are it's gonna man, it's so tough. I don't know.
All right, we're gonna move on.
Buffalo? I don't know. Buffalo maybe, but Buffalo's gonna do some dumb shit this offseason.
I got Sean.
Johnny's.
So there's I know Sidney Crosby was the guy that I grew up rooting for. Being born and raised in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania.
For sure.
And then the guy named JT Miller was the only reason I knew who he was because of Brent Vance.
We talked about JT in the last show. It was good.
Where the fuck is JT Miller nowadays?
JT's on Vancouver. He's still in the playoffs.
Moose Knob.
Who's he play for, Mitch?
Mitch,
who's he play for?
And Johnny, he's having a great playoff.
Yeah, he's doing well.
That's amazing.
He's special.
Yeah.
He was on the Rangers for a while, wasn't he?
Absolutely.
He went Rangers, then went down to Tampa.
Dude, it's so funny that he was. If I ever met JT again, I'd have to bring a series up. I just think, dude, what was it? What was John Cooper like? He'd just be like, chug this beer pigeon. And I'd be like, okay.
Chug this beer pigeon.
Dude, he called me a pigeon one time. So I used to have to pick up Frank from bars when he was just trash. He'd always just FaceTime JT. And Frank would just be like, JT, check out my boy Mel in the driver's seat. And JT would be like, what's up, pigeon? And I'd be like, JT, you barely got out of AHL. Who the fuck are you calling pigeon, dude?
Who you calling pigeon?
Yeah. Hey, your boy's the fucking pigeon. He can't hold his booze. He's got to call his grand little to bail him out. Frank's the pigeon, dude.
Frank's the pigeon.
Yeah.
All right. We're going to go into a different segment here. Grant, are you done with the GM?
I think we had a good run at it. I think the trade with the Leafs, I think, makes sense for both teams, but I don't think anything will come of it. Sorry.
Oh, yeah. Hey, let's talk about that actually for a second. I totally think the Pens won that trade.
Yeah, they won it. What?
I agree.
He's gonna be a good third liner. Great job.
Well, hang on a second. The most underrated part of that trade, I don't know if Pens fans realize this. The Lindgren kid, the prospect you got.
There you go. I meant to. Yeah, I wrote that down. Being like, this is the stuff.
I don't think. Okay. Everyone sees the front page of a trade, right? Everyone sees the big name. That's always what you justify a trade by. What most fans fail to look into is who are you actually getting? What is actually the value? Pens fans, Letang is not getting any younger. Dumoulin, not getting any younger, right? Essentially, those are your top two guys. Jack Johnson, while he's loved, not getting any younger. You've got this, all of a sudden, this prospect in Lindgren coming in from Toronto in this trade that makes so much sense for you. This kid is a stud, and he's going to back your blue line for years to come if you do it the right way.
Yes.
Okay,
but
Martino's cool. That's fine, but now you've got a partner for him.
And
so
the Pens' defensive side is what ultimately, in my opinion, bit us in the ass when we faced the
100%.
Canadians, was our defense. So I totally agree that the defensive part of that trade is probably the more important aspect, because the Penguins have plenty of talented forwards. Like we have the firepower to score, but evidently we are struggling a little bit on the defensive side of things.
They can't get the puck out of the defensive side.
I miss Phil Kessel, man.
Missing Phil Kessel.
This is why this trade makes sense. This Lindgren guy he's essentially a top line prospect that could be developed into a top line guy, in my opinion.
By the way,
I sure hope not.
By the way, I think you guys are trying to say Marino.
Yeah.
What
I say?
I think you said Martino.
Maybe Grant was. He said Martino.
It's Marino.
Got a couple boys. Sorry. Like Dane, he played at Central Catholic, dude. Hey, he played down at Central Catholic.
We got to depart with our guest here, unfortunately. I wanted to give him a proper send-off.
He's been great.
Conclusion speaker brought to you by Behold Furniture Manufacturing, giving you all your needs for summer patio furniture. Behold Furniture Manufacturing. This summer, give him a call. Johnny, it's been a pleasure.
It's been a pleasure,
We love
guys.
you.
Enjoy the rest of your weekend, and love to be back in a part of this as much as you guys want me. So
always welcome.
We would love to have you back, Johnny.
Take it easy, boys. Stay well.
Good to see anybody.
And coming back to you now live. Here we are, Lunch Pail Hockey, back from commercial break. Happy to be back with all of our sponsors here, Sirius XM Radio. We want to thank you all for tuning in tonight on this Friday night. Beautiful August Friday evening. Now going to one of our traditional segments, Mitchell Cerniak here at the Kiski School up in the Pittsburgh area of the country. We're looking at gambling with Mitch. Mitchell, how we betting this week, babe?
How are we doing? Well, so should we do tomorrow's games or should we do tomorrow's games and
you tell me, how we betting?
Yeah, all right. So all of the 401k on this parlay tomorrow.
all my kids' college tuition on this game.
Here we go. We got Lightning and Bruins, right? Tomorrow. That's the first game. Lightning, I like Lightning. I think goaltending and depth is just better. And I think they made a statement by beating the living shit out of them last game. So like I said, Lightning is my pick on that game. I like Flyers and Islanders. I'm going with Islanders because Barry Trotz is the GOAT.
Hey, Mitchell, I'm going to be honest with you. Your energy kind of sucks, so why don't you pick it up?
Mitch, have you ever watched Stu Feiner give gambling picks?
Nah, man, I haven't.
Okay, I'm going to send you some links. We don't have to do them right now, but it's kind of the energy I want you to match because when you're trying to sell gambling picks, it's very intense. It's winners, winners, winners. It's you want them. I want your fucking bookies' money. I don't want your money. I want your fucking bookies' money. Who's gonna fucking come through right now? Who's got the winners? Mitchie's got the fucking winners. Who's Who's going to win this weekend? The fucking Islanders are going to win because they grind it out. Like, that's what we need.
And it's a guaranteed fucking team. We're playing with their money, not our money. We're playing with their fucking money.
Who's got winners? Who tracks their winners better than Lunch Pail? No one else tracks their winners better than Lunch Pail.
I mean, dude, where's the
Sign up
bitch
for the
that no one
newsletter.
loves?
It's free money. Mitchie, it's free money. The newsletter is free money because we got Mitchie Stacks and G Money and Austin Jit and T Dunner bringing the fucking heat for the gambling picks.
Right on, brothers.
Cheers.
I think Grant has the juice right now, so let's go with Grant.
So here's what we do.
The segment is gambling with Mitch. It's gambling with Mitch.
Mitch, do you think you can bring that heat?
Right now, man?
I want their bookies' money.
I want their bookies.
I understand you do. Does Mitch want it?
Grant, you take over. You just take over right now.
Give me 2 seconds here.
I'm gonna go into gambling with Grant, and
then
that's how
Mitch, give me the winners. Just give me the winners. I'll sell them.
I like Lightning. I like Islanders, and I like the Nuts.
Lightning. Are these game by game basis here from
This
the
is just
restart?
tomorrow's games.
Tomorrow's games. Lightning. Okay. Lightning or what? Give me the lines. Give me the numbers.
So Lightning. So the over under is 5.5. I think Lightning is minus. Hold on, let me look it up.
All right, a better question here. Do we like any of these puck lines? Do we like Lightning puck line? Do we like Lightning minus 1.5?
I don't. I like Lightning straight up money
Yeah,
line.
but that's not fun. So let's say puck line because I like a puck line.
So they're minus 1.5. Tampa
Yeah,
Bay.
obviously they're the favorite.
Grant, you can defend this right now if you wanted to. Let's just go. You ready?
I got you. I got the gambling picks right now. If there's one thing that Lunch Pail Hockey does right, it's gambling.
Go to our segment with gambling with Grant Miller in the corner. It's going to be the Northeast. It's going to be more of a Rust Belt corner, if you will, this Friday night with our gambling maestro this Friday, Grant Miller. Grant, talk to me, baby. How am I winning money tomorrow?
Trent, I got the winners for you. You threw it to the Rust Belt, the area of the country that built this whole country, the grit and grind. No one knows hockey like the Rust Belt. I got the winners because I was born and raised here. Okay, will you fucking let me talk? Don't ever touch me again. Thank you very much. I got a three-team parlay. I got a three-team parlay that it's too hot. Trent, you see this piece of paper? It's too hot. I can't even keep my hands on it.
I can't even touch it.
Again, don't ever interrupt me again. Don't ever interrupt me again. I swear to God, I'll leave this podcast.
Jesus Christ.
Okay. All right, that's fine.
This entire
Grant.
empire has been built on three-team parlays. Tomorrow, we have been through this all. We will have 3 hockey games tomorrow. I cannot wait. It is getting me through this long night. That we will have a puck drop at noon Eastern for all my friends in the Central Time. Tampa Bay versus Boston. We talked about it earlier. Tampa Bay has this locked down. They are going to come out firing. I've been on the other side of that. It is not fun. I like Tampa puck line minus 1.5. They'll cover easily. No problem. Let me get the second game of the night at 7 p.m. The Islanders and the Philadelphia Flyers. This game has been a knife fight from the first game. It is tied. Both these teams are phenomenal. I like the over in this game. There are going to be goals galore no matter what, no matter who comes out on top. You can take it to the fucking bank because I want the bank. I want to rob the bank with you. Let's go. Grab the bags. We're going. The code on the safe is over. That is it. And then the last game of the night, 9:45 Eastern. Vancouver Canucks, the most special team with all our friends and family on there, close personal friends, lining up for the Vancouver Canucks against the Vegas Knights. The Canucks are going to win this one outright. Outright. I said
do you like over or under Knights and Nucks at 6?
I'm not touching the line. I'm not touching it. I'm not touching it. Give me the Canucks outright just to win. And I only do that because it's the last game of the night and because you're with us here at Lunch Pail Hockey. You know how we do this. It's a 3-team parlay.
You do know how.
It is a 3-team parlay. This is set up for success. I'm not messing with the puck line. I'm not messing with the over-under. I know that's Bush League. We're going to parlay this. This is the lock of the night. Stamp it. The Grant Miller lock of the night. Vancouver Canucks will win to finish your parlay. When you are sweating it out at midnight, you won't have to, because all you have to know is that the Canucks are going to win. Thank you.
Grant, I don't have children, but if I did, I would bet their college tuition on it because I am so confident in those picks. And for the record, these picks are sponsored by West Lowndes High School football. Just won their first home opener. West Lowndes Panthers just finished up their home opener. Got some words here from Coach Stanley reaching out to the pod. Big supporters here down in West Lowndes High School. Coach Stanley reaches out, sends his best, and thanks us for their support as well on their home opening win tonight. Apparently went with the Veer, is what he said. Big fan of the Veer.
Big fan of the Veer.
Won't get into football. Won't get into football.
We love the Veer. Folks, don't we love the Veer?
But love Coach Stanley and his words of confidence. And Grant, I think that goes real well with your picks. And as I said, I'm probably going to go with that tomorrow. So moving forward.
Trent, wait, hold on. Can we talk about the Veer real quick?
Oh, Mitch is here. What's up, Mitch? Good to see you, man.
Hey,
Mitch
sorry, I was taking your shoes back in the back. Dude, the Veer, man.
Oh, okay.
Remember
Marshall, Jack Langle, Worcester, Ohio.
Remember the Titans, dude. We run 11 plays. We run them sharp, and you remember that. You remember that?
I remember the Titans.
Washington?
Mitch, if you're asking me if I remember the Titans, I do.
I remember the Titans as well.
Dude, the Denzel Washington was like, "Oh, this playbook looks pretty small, Coach. I run 11 plays, Coach, and blah blah blah." I don't fucking even know how he says it, but it's fucking hilarious. You don't remember that?
I know what you mean.
I remember the Titans.
Yeah.
Mitch, if you're asking if I again, the Veer became prominent pop culturally during the movie We Are Marshall, starring Matthew McConaughey playing Jack Langle, former coach of the Worcester Fighting Scots, went above and beyond Call of Duty and took the head coaching job at Marshall and then instituted the Veer because West Virginia ran. He ran the Power Eye at Worcester.
Of all four of these generational talents here.
Here's the quote.
Sure.
Coach Boone says, "I run 6 plays, split Veer, like Novocaine. Just give it time. It always works."
Good one. That's a good one.
All right, boys. I'm going to go into a quick youth hockey segment with Trent here. I think it's going to leak well into our next segment. So we're at the Pioneer Classic 2015.
Good year.
And
2015
we're
was a good
down
year.
4-2. Good year. We're in the championship game, battled hard to get there, right? As a coach, you're sweating bullets. Squirt, right? So we're looking at like 9-year-olds, 9-year-olds. Okay. No, too young.
It's U10. It's U10.
Big difference, brother.
Yeah. No,
U10.
Yeah.
And we got this kid. We'll call him Jack for the segment. We'll call him Jack. So Jack was still, getting on his feet. Introduced to the game as most kids are at that age. I don't even think I played hockey until I was older than that. So this kid, obviously I rolled the lines at that age, even in the championship game, not a big deal. It's a squirt championship game, but it's our home championship game. It's the DU Classic. Everybody wants to win the DU Classic. Gotta win the DU Classic, And so we're down 4-2 with 2 minutes to go. Not looking great for the boys back home. I send out Jack, and Jack buries a rebound. And, we're kind of looking at each other down the bench, like it's 4-3 in a squirt game. Trying not to get too hyped because you don't want to be inappropriate. But, it's kind of exciting. The parents are obviously going nuts. So they're like, yeah, pull the goalie. And I'm sitting there as like the squirt coach, trying to be respectable, like, all right, we're going to play this by ear. Like I'm trying to make the classy moves here. I keep Jack, quote unquote, out there. I keep Jack out there. And all of a sudden, we get a good breakout pass from one of my favorite defensemen. We'll call him TJ. TJ leaks Jack on a breakaway because TJ just saw passes like that. "Quote unquote," TJ just saw the ice at an unreal level as a squirt.
You love to see that.
So Jack,
You can't
Jack's
teach
on a
vision.
breakaway. TJ has JT Miller's vision. Jack's on a breakaway in the DU Classic. We're down 4-3. Jack scores. Granted, Jack hasn't scored a goal all year. He just scored 2 goals in the DU Classic in the last 2 minutes. I'm like, at this point, Coach Dunn has lost his cool. He's like, I'm not classy anymore. I'm going nuts. My boy Jack just scored 2 goals to tie the game in the DU Classic. I'm looking like a champion because Jack just made me look like a champion. And I love him for it. Parents love me. Parents love Jack. Jack loves me. It's a triangle. What goes around comes around. Anyways, we go to overtime. Not settled. We go to a shootout. We go to extra rounds of the shootout. Okay?
Is there shootouts at that age?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Hey, brother, serious business. Seriously, a lot of money. Yeah, brother. I look down the bench at we'll call him Grant for your sake. And my boy Grant.
Sick. Oh, this goes well.
Grant's dad
we're off to a rough start.
No, we're not. Grant's dad is the doctor of the DU Pioneers, right? And I see them all looking at me, and I'm like, God, I hope this is the right call. Grant gets out on the ice, absolutely destroys the goalie in the last round of the shootout, and the Squirt DU Pioneers go on to win. And yeah, that's my youth hockey story of the week. Lesson learned. There's always miracles to happen. It's like Jack was totally underestimated by obviously the parents and even the coaches, admittedly. And we kept him out there in a championship game, and he pulled through in a way that was so inspiring. And I'll never forget that as long as I live, whether I coach again or not. And I think it's a great lesson to take with us today. So I had to tell that story. So I don't want to dwell on it. If you guys got any comments on it, that's fine. If you don't, that's fine too. Anybody? If nothing, that's cool.
No, I think that's cool to see that, as we get older, we think that the sporting moments that we witness are done. Like our athletic career is by and large behind us, but it just changes. And Trent, you've been blessed to be able to coach. Mitch obviously has had a coaching career that I'm sure has had moments that are very enriching, and I think that's kind of an allegory for life. Things that kind of amaze you and keep you going still happen. I don't want to make that story too serious because that was very funny and I enjoyed it. It was very lighthearted in a lot of ways, but there's a lot to be learned from that. And I think anyone that's listening that is lucky enough to continue coaching, especially at the youth level, I hope they don't take it serious, but understand that there are kids and see that there's value in what you're doing. Because I think we can all agree that we've been shaped by the coaches we've had through our athletic careers as kids. And even at that age, man, like those kids, they take in everything. And I still think back to when I was 9 and 10, and a lot of the lessons I was learning there resonate. So I like that as a segment a lot, really do, because I think as we get older, we reflect on these things more, and we can add some humor to it even better. Because I think that it is good.
100%, and it's always typically humorous because it is youth hockey, but it does pack so many lessons. And I think it leads well into our next segment here. In a topic I wanted to get into this week was our back to the NHL level. Favorite lines currently in the playoffs. So I think that story bleeds well with chemistry and and lessons you see on the ice. And so before we get into it, I want to ask you guys about what chemistry have you seen on the ice in any matchup, be it Avs Stars, Canucks Knights, Flyers Isles, Bolts Bruins, offensive or defensive, who sticks out to you and why? They don't have to be lighting up the scoreboard, but give me a pairing, forward or defensive, and tell me why they stick out to you. I'll go with Austin.
I'm going to have to go with the Stars and say for defensive pairing, I've kind of liked Alexiak and Heiskanen.
Oh my God, Austin, that was my answer.
They've
Probably true for a lot of us.
They have
Defensively,
played some excellent defense, and Alexiak, former Penguin, but I do enjoy
Sure.
watching that pairing. I think they play well together, and Lindell and Klingberg, the other defensive pairing on the Stars, also plays well. Trent said it before, the Stars defense is pretty damn good. I got to say, those are probably my answers for what lines stick out to me. JT Miller's line with what I think is Horvat and Bozer.
Yeah. That was good. If I could take that right in, that was.
They've been producing. On. Yeah. They've been producing. So those are the lines that have stuck out to me, at least from the games I've seen. So.
Grant, I'll give you a second to think about it, and I'll jump in because it's convenient. My line of the week was going to be that Heiskanen and Alexiak line. I got to give it to him, man. Like, the Avs are playing the Stars, obviously, but God, here's the thing about Alexiak. He blocks every puck that comes his way, and the thing about Heiskanen is he drives the rush. I feel like Pierre Maguire loves to say, or Mike Milbury loves to comment on, well, this defenseman jumps into the rush. It's so impressive that they jump into the rush. To me, a defenseman jumping into the rush isn't all that impressive. They just kind of skated forward a little bit and just kind of existed for a second.
Sure.
Whereas Mikko Heiskanen creates the rush. He drives the rush. He is a defenseman who creates that offensive opportunity because of his capability.
Right.
He doesn't just jump in because it's convenient. He doesn't just exist. Oh, he's an option now because he's a defenseman who skated forward. That's kind of cool. No, he creates the rush, and it's a pain in the ass as an Avs fan to deal with. So to me, line of the week goes to those two. Grant?
Yeah, no, I'm glad Austin brought up the Horvat and JT line because for me, that's the one I enjoy watching the most. That's mostly because of JT, I'll be honest. But the Pettersson line, and we talked about that goal the Canucks scored and everything that
it was sick, dude.
It was so amazing, dude. It's why you love hockey. I mean, it's the beauty of the modern era.
And it was so well timed, so needed. It was so needed.
It was a beaut. It was a beaut.
It was a beaut. And, functionally, that should be my answer. But because it's JT, and I like Bo Horvat, man. It's so dumb because, I'm a Jackets fan, and, I have no reason to be let me watch the Canucks. And, most, I don't know. It's why we love hockey. You just kind of grab onto certain guys, and you're like, these dudes have my attention. And for the past 4 years, the Canucks have just grabbed me, and
nothing wrong with that.
No, nothing wrong. And it's been cool to there's so many times where you see a team kind of build a roster, and you're like, there's something there. There's something there, and we've seen that with the Nucks.
Is it special?
It's special, dude. It is special, and you want it to materialize because you do like to see teams kind of develop their own guys and get them out there and add talent where you need to. And they've done that to a T, and it's just seeing JT on there as an Ohio guy and as a guy that we love is great. And Horvat was the guy before Pedersen and Hughes, and I know Hughes is defensive, but before all of those guys were really making moves, it was Bo. Like Bo was the guy leading the team and scoring and all that. And, he's a guy I really like to see. I hope they can kind of stick around for him. Different line, Tyler Mott, former Jacket, has really had an amazing playoff series. This has just turned into me like a love fest with it. But yeah, man, I just I don't think there's anything wrong with the way they're developing and the way they kind of come together. We talk about teams with chemistry, lines with chemistry. You don't play the style the Canucks do without having a lot of continuity that comes with playing together.
Sure.
So
we'll see that.
let me ask you guys this question real quick. So you're playing hockey. You see, like you guys just discussed lines that you respect for certain reasons. What do you look for in a line mate? What and that may be too vague of a question. What you're stepping onto the ice with a guy. What do you want him to bring to the ice? You know, what is that makes a line spark? You know what I mean? What is it about these lines that we're talking about that makes them special, Grant?
I think it's like a similar style of play. I'll take this back to the Jackets. A lot of times over the years we've seen kind of Foligno and Atkinson play opposite of one another because Tortorella does a really good job. I'm a homer, so I'm going to go back to this. It's like you got to get the guys playing together that have a similar style and control the game with their role. So I'll take it back a couple years ago. These are three names that we all love. Josh Anderson, William Karlsson, and Scotty Hartnell all played together. It was the best line in Jackets history. I loved it. Scotty Hartnell kind of being a veteran with two very young guys that
is chemistry.
You can't
the ass.
beat that. Josh learned everything from Scott Hartnell.
Yeah.
William Karlsson.
But why does that work? You got essentially three different styles of play there.
I really don't. Trent, I'll be honest, I don't know how that works. I think
that's what I wanted to get into tonight.
Yeah, it's tough. There is a part of this.
Lines.
There's a part of this that we can't measure. As a guy that kind of loves the analytical stats a little much, like I probably don't like it too much, but like I love that you can kind of equate like why Jack Johnson slows down the offensive game or why certain guys are like more important at the ice. Line chemistry is one of those things that you can't really measure. Like you just can't get a feel for it. You see it happen in front of you.
Does it go beyond the analytics? You know,
yes, that's what I'm
absolutely.
The Corsi 4 analytics guys, like I love those guys. The Corsi 4 people they have a point, but they also don't seem to recognize the intangibles in this line chemistry.
They gotta work together. I mean,
right. There's the balance. There's a balance, and that's where a line like Scotty Hartnell, William Karlsson, and Josh Anderson, when you look at that, you look at three different completely types of players and try to understand how does that work together, yet it did. And it was explosive, like what?
Well, it was. It made the team better when they were on the ice. And we'll keep it current. The third line for the Tampa Bay Lightning. Those guys won the series against the Jackets.
Absolutely, man.
Absolutely. It usually, and we talk about like line chemistry. It is the teams. It's usually not the one. It's not the top line. It's usually the team that's just like eating up minutes. It's the team. It's the guys that are on the ice after the opposing team.
You need your third and fourth line to show up when it matters.
It was for Lightning. It was Goudreau and Coleman and Yanni Gord. Those guys were changing the kind of flow of the game, and that's real chemistry. I mean, any of us can step on the ice opposite Artemi Panarin and probably play pretty good. you know, you can probably put up some numbers. It's the lines that when you got to dig deep, and it's like who can you know to hold possession or flip the ice are
Right.
the lines that you really love. And like we'll go back to I think JT and Bo are those guys.
All right, give me a 30-second answer, real quick. Grant, when you step onto the ice, this has been a more philosophical episode. When you step onto the ice, what do you look for on the line mate? 30 seconds. Then, Carl, we're coming to you.
All right.
Me personally, as a hockey guy, I'm looking at a guy with vision. You know, it's got the continuity, knows where we're at without seeing it. It's tough for me as a guy that hasn't played a whole lot of hockey. I'll push it to a different sport.
You still have an idea.
No, I can tie this in. Give me a second. As a guy that I play, my kind of sport through high school and adulthood has been rugby. That's built on continuity, which is very similar in hockey, in the vision, and how a lot of things are improvised. And the guy's going to be lining up next to me. I want him to kind of have a good feel for the game and knowing where the next pass is. And it's a lot of times just the pass to set up the pass. And those are the teams that win. I mean, like, I fucking hate them, but the Bruins have built an entire run on just guys being able to know their role, know where the puck needs to move, and a lot of that. It's tough for us to talk about this a little bit because we're not active.
I wanted to finish what you look for in a line mate from Austin, and then
Sure.
I wanted to get into the matchups won't take like 10 minutes to talk about who's doing what, who's winning kind of thing, and then life lessons with Cara.
All right.
And that's how we
I
end it.
hold on, let's talk through the lineup.
Are you prepared for that, Austin, by the way?
I'm
for
prepared.
that?
I'm prepared. Don't worry.
I don't know how much matchup more talk we can do. I feel like we've really done a good job of covering the matchups. And with the delay,
I feel like we haven't.
I think we
I
can.
feel like we haven't really.
Yeah, I think
Okay,
we can
all
go
right.
through it briefly at least.
Okay,
Just be
for
like
sure.
final thoughts
sure.
on the matchups.
I'm for
Yeah,
sure.
like, I feel
Austin,
like-
talk about line chemistry. I got it.
Okay.
That's okay.
Austin, you step onto the ice, and it's one of those things like you see your name on the roster with a guy that you're excited for. Like what are you looking for in that person? You step onto the ice and you're excited. Why are you excited? What are you looking for in that teammate?
That's a great question, Trent. And I don't have any experience playing hockey, but I do have experience playing lacrosse. Very similar sport in a lot of ways.
Sure.
And I was a D guy, so I guess if I was looking for someone who I could pair with defensively, I would look for a guy who would just keep grinding, has great communication, and who's just about it. I want someone who I can rely on, who I know will be able to make those transitions with me. We're on the same page no matter what. We keep talking to each other. And just basically just kind of be someone to basically be able to lean on,
Absolutely.
to work well with together. And I think, like I said, lacrosse
Absolutely.
and hockey has a lot of that comparisons. But yeah, I mean, I really don't think it has to be anything special. I just want something special. I just want someone who's able to communicate and who's able to work hard and just hustle at the end of the day.
Yeah, we talk about that deep pairing, Jamie Alexiak and Mikko Heiskanen, and it seemed to embody a lot of what you're saying. And that's why I wanted to talk about line chemistry on this episode, because
Sure.
it seemed prevalent. It seemed prevalent this week.
Right.
It was something that stuck to me even beyond the play of the ice. Line chemistry stuck out to me. That's why I wanted to talk about it. And it's
Sure, because you can
I
tell.
think that's why. Yes, absolutely. It sticks out. The guys who have played together, who seem to have that niche with each other, they seem to still be in the playoffs conveniently. It's amazing how that works. It's one of those things that teams seem to figure out throughout the years, and as teams do, that's when they seem to go farther in the playoffs. It's funny how that works. It's convenient, if you will. It's special, if you will.
I agree completely. And I mean, there's been
So-
plenty of instances where, even just from the Pittsburgh Penguins, all you have to do sometimes to make a team click together is just change the lines up just a little bit. If you just shift them, then sometimes you just get that group of guys that just works well together and they click.
Line chemistry is underrated, and I think you guys are going to have a great time with the new prospect Lindgren. I really think he's going to be a great fit.
I agree as
really
well.
do.
Kapanen will be as well.
So-
Don't get me wrong, but we definitely need some more of that defensive power, for sure.
Yes. And honestly, I think that's the star piece of the trade. I really do.
I think that's a good take. I think that's a great take.
Moving on to our last portions of tonight's episode, we're going to get into matchups really quick before we move into our closing thoughts / life lessons with Kara. Current matchups, though, we're going to start with Bolts versus Bruins. Grant, where are we headed with this series?
I mean, we kind of talked earlier. I hope it stays in. I'd be shocked if the Bolts.
Just keep it simple.
Yeah, I'd be shocked if the Bolts don't really close it out. But I see this one. I see this.
They will.
I
They
see
will,
this
man.
one going 7, dude. And just knowing the Bruins, it could go either way.
I disagree.
We talked last week. Like it's tough to predict at this point. And with
Yes.
there's
Like we
there
said,
are.
we're at that point. We're at that point. We know that, but
We're
I think the
at
Bolts
that
close
point, but then also like these guys are in a bubble. They're in a routine right now. It's not their normal routine. Their bubble routine has been changed with the kind of player sitting out strike, whatever we want to call it, which we already said we agree with it. We've already said it's going. I don't think it's outrageous to think that it might have an effect on like the momentum of these series.
I agree.
It's a gap in time, and I know we already said that, and we Austin said I agree.
It's a gap in time. It's a noble gap in time. It's a noble gap in time.
It's more what the guys are trying to convey is more important than hockey. Everything that's happening right now is more important than hockey. But if
100%.
hockey's gonna keep going, I'm gonna have a take on it. And the take
But when it
is
restarts,
things are gonna be different. And the Bulls could absolutely just put up 7 goals in 2 periods and say we're a better team. Or the Bruins
Bulls in 6.
I want to believe it.
I think Game 4 will be very telling. Obviously,
All these games are kind of
how the
going to
series is gonna
reset
go.
the momentum. Every single game tomorrow.
Kara, your take on the series. Go.
I think that the Lightning definitely blew the wheels off the wagon with the Bruins, and if Game 3 was anything to go off of, the Lightning will just sweep the floor with the Bruins. But there is a possibility in Game 4 that the Bruins do show up, possibly tie the series. And if that happens, I think we could see something like a Game 7 situation. I don't think it's unrealistic. But if the Lightning slam the door in the Bruins' face in Game 4, I think they're just going to run with it. So the Bruins have to show up for Game 4. Otherwise, I think it's just going to be the Lightning.
All right, boys. Moving on. Flyers Isles. Grant.
This is the one, like, I think the Flyers
Might be the hardest one.
It's
Might be the hardest
hard.
one.
is the hardest thing. I think the Flyers were rolling. I think they were the team that like could not be stopped.
I disagree.
Really?
Yeah.
This is why it's the hardest one. This is why
Yeah.
it's the hardest one. It's
I
because
love the Islanders. I want the Islanders to win this. Like as a I'm biased here. I am rooting for the Islanders, but I think the Islanders are going to grind this out. But I think the Flyers have more talent. But I don't know if they can get back the juice that we saw from them through the round robin over the series from the Canadians.
All right. At this point, Series prediction. Who wins? What game?
I think it goes 7. I think it goes 7. I think it's the Islanders. This is a grind. This is the grind.
Cara?
I think it'll also go Game 7, and I do think the Islanders will get it. And the reason I disagree with Grant is Game 1, the Islanders just took that W, and in Game 2 on Wednesday, you have to remember that game that went to OT. The Islanders were down 3-0. They came back, forced OT, and granted they weren't able to close out the game, but they showed that they were, you can't count them out, even if the Flyers are on top for.
But don't
goals.
you think that blowing that type of lead and then the Islanders, the Flyers being the team to win it, is indicative of it's on the Flyers side right now.
I think the momentum is on the Flyers side right now after that victory, but I think it's also don't count the Islanders out, even if you're up necessarily.
But let's be clear, that game, Flyers are up early. The game 2 was such a fucking roller coaster. You wanted to see the Flyers collapse, but talent won out.
Sure.
I don't know.
But it was a battle, is what I'm saying. It wasn't a 3-0 game. It went to OT.
No. Yeah.
And I think that's indicative of the entire series going forward. I think it's going to be a battle. It's going to be a grind between these two.
You're right. I think we're on the same page.
Yeah.
We're different roads, same destination.
Sure. Yeah. There you go. What do you think, Trent?
I think it's Islanders in 7.
So we're all in agreement with that, at least.
Islanders. This is a battle. It's a close knit battle. I love Kevin Hayes on Philly. I really do. He's such a great addition to that team, and he fits in so well. And he seems to add offense where they need. He's a great asset. He seems to add a spark where they needed a spark beyond Voracek or whoever else that
Couturier.
Couturier.
Yeah.
Couturier.
Couturier.
Nolan Patrick, whatever. He seemed to add what they needed, but I think Islanders in 7. I love Anders Lee. I love Brock Nelson. American
Barzell. We just named him.
Yeah, I love Barzell. Yeah, obviously Trotz. We can't deny Trotz.
Yeah.
So I think Islanders 7. Let's move out west. Let's go Knights and Moose Knucks.
I've dug my stand. What's up? Is it me? Throwing it to me?
Yep.
Yeah, I can't back away from my stance, man. It's got to be the Canucks. I think they could. If I have to put any more nuance onto this series and this team, I think the Canucks can improvise and provide a different level. I think they can reach a different level. I think the Knights are just who they are. I think they play a style. They commit to it. It's very respectful. It's good. Am I actively rooting against the Knights? Not necessarily. But I think the Canucks can make things happen out of nowhere. And a lot of times that's just what the playoffs are. Especially when you get into these rounds where, it's not always the best brand of hockey, really. I mean, if you watch the games,
Sure.
the refs aren't blowing the whistle and the legs are dead. Who's just going to kind of take the game over? And I think the guys on the Canucks are capable of that.
Can I step in there for a second?
How about it?
Can I step in for 1 second?
Go ahead.
The last game Vancouver won, they had no business winning that game, yet they
Exactly. Yeah.
I agree.
Keep going. Sorry.
No, that was kind of it. I kind of just was trying to talk through that, and I just I like all these guys that are playing for the
right. And don't get me wrong, I also like the Moose Knucks, but I think the Knights are the better team, and I do think that they're going to win the series. I think maybe we're looking at a Game 6 situation. Put Flower in net, and just grind it out. I just think that they're the better team. Now, I mean, if the Canucks keep playing like they did on Tuesday and just keep making shit happen, then who knows? I like both teams, but I think the Knights
It would
are the
be
better
very
one.
flower-like. Not to interrupt you, it would
No,
be
go.
very flower-like for the. And it's up to the Knights to give him the go.
Right,
But, like,
exactly.
It would be very much on brand for Fleury to get the call and then just like shut out the Canucks.
Yes,
And,
and I'm
take
kind of
over the series.
I'm kind of half expecting that to happen because I've seen
Yeah.
Fleury do it for the Penguins before.
I
So
think-
yeah, that's
think
not
if-
out of line at all.
I'm gonna pin it on the goalie situation. If they don't put in Fleury, I think the Canucks win. If they do, I think the Knights win in 6.
all right, I
That's
can
my
get
take.
behind that. I can get behind that.
Yeah, it's not. Yeah, for sure.
I think Fleury is that kind of guy. I know he's older, but that's relative. I mean, he's still like I would want him on the Avs. I would.
Yeah.
Hypothetical GM.
you know, the guys-
comes the app.
Hypothetical GM. We don't need him right now. We got 2 goaltenders.
Bring Flower
Alright.
back to the Pens.
Last series before our closing thoughts. Avs versus Stars. Go ahead. We'll start with Grant.
Yeah, I feel really so. Take it all the way back. I don't want to dive too into this, but we would be remiss if we didn't admit that we were incredibly high on the Avs last week.
I will say,
Rightfully so.
I specifically asked you, Trent, are you scared?
And no one we laughed. Austin.
Grant was like,
laughed at
I'll
each
answer
other.
that for Trent.
Yes.
The answer is no.
And yeah, I mean, it was.
I did go on to say you can't count Dallas out.
True. Very true. I will.
Trent had a more grounded response than any of us.
True.
And the big picture of all of it is that
I had the most grounded response. For
as
the
you
record.
should,
True.
as you should,
Very true,
as
very
you
true.
should. What we come from this is the idea what we did touch on is that playoff hockey kind of restarts. I mean, it's just a series. Every series is its own story, and we saw the Stars come out swinging those first 2 games to a point to where I was nervous about recording this show. Because we were so high on the Avs, and I personally was so low on the Stars. I went as far as to say I root against them, that I don't like them as the way they're built, and I don't necessarily disagree with any of that. But it would look very poorly if the Stars continued their reign of dominance. Thankfully, the Avs got one back when they absolutely had to.
Agreed. Game 3 was huge.
God, was that game exciting to see. When we talk about like best sections of sports, we're all pretty multi. We watch a lot of different games. We watch a lot of different sports. I think hockey's probably our favorite between us. But like, you know, I'll watch a baseball game every now and then. I'll watch everything. I love it. I love
Some
my
cricket.
teams. If it's on and I'm awake, for sure. But when everyone's like, what do you look forward to the most? I think, and this is cliche at this point in the world, this would be a cool take 9 years ago, but it's playoff hockey. And why
Absolutely.
is it playoff hockey? Because of Game 3. Games like that, where it's one team doing everything and another team just absolutely surprising us. There were so many flows of emotion. And NBC, shout out to NBC for doing an amazing job of when the Stars went on their run, every goal the Stars scored, they panned to Joe Sakic in the booth, and in just a hilarious manner. He's Joe Sakic. He's unwavering. There was no a breakdown on his side, and like, I don't know that there's not a lot to get from that, but I just remember watching that and seeing that happen, just being like, I can't wait to talk about that because that is such a funny. I don't know, like this Avs team. I wasn't gonna say I thought they were gonna fold. I think they are a well-constructed organization. These guys have played together for a long time. I think that's what we're seeing. We're seeing guys that have each other's backs, know each other. These guys were garbage for a couple of years. I don't mean to be offensive when I say that, but when you go through those moments as a core, you really learn about each other.
Right.
And they didn't miss a beat after losing that lead. It was like a 2-minute span, and then it was just goals. And it was amazing. It was absolutely amazing. I hope that Colorado, I want them to keep this going because I like this team, and we kind of have a rooting interest in this.
Well, you're an Avs fan.
I am now. Yeah, absolutely.
Am now. You have been.
Yeah, for sure. No, Trey and I have always had a kind of a mutual agreement of rooting for each other's teams in the opposite conference. It's been great.
Thank you. Thank you.
Great uniforms you guys have out there. That makes it a lot easier.
Thank
Yeah.
you.
Yeah, they are
Yes,
good
we do.
uniforms.
Yes, we
They're
do.
phenomenal.
They're good
There
uniforms.
used to be a lot of former
Everyone
jackets
agrees.
on the Avs.
Like-
I don't.
Phenomenal uniforms.
Yeah, I'll leave it at that.
You want to comment before I take that?
This series, I think that the Avs kind of got caught off guard a little bit by how much the Stars just came out swinging.
Yeah.
I'd say so.
But I do think that the Avalanche are capable, as they've demonstrated in Game 3, that they can adapt, and I think that we will
Yes.
see that moving forward in the series. I think that the Avs are going to win the series. Maybe a Game 7 situation, but I do think the Avs are capable of adapting and, just maneuvering around what the Stars are doing and eventually beating them at it. So I think the Avs will come out on top, but I think definitely at the beginning of the series they were not anticipating just how hard the Dallas Stars came out to play. And that's my thoughts on the match.
Okay, yeah. My take, kind of been holding back on this all night. Here's my take. Yeah, we were humbled. We came from the Phoenix series and thought that we were just going to walk in here, and that clearly wasn't the take. Dallas is very, very good. Dallas is a team that should not be taken for granted. They have arguably the best defenseman in the world. Huh?
We took them for granted. We thought we were just gonna be able to run.
Yeah, well, I think everybody did. Mikko Heiskanen is
He showed up.
incredibly talented.
Yeah.
And to no one's surprise, here's another thing I mentioned. Joe Pavelski and Corey Perry, like mediocre regular seasons, but is anyone surprised that they're in the postseason again? Like
Not
doing
at all.
damage?
Not at all.
You know,
Not at all.
Like there's two prominent names, and they're there now, and no one's surprised.
It's crazy that all year you're like, look at Dallas overpaying for Joe, and he's just a guy that deflects goals that in front of the goalie.
Right.
Are you really gonna overpay for that? And then it's like the guy's the
here now,
leader.
they are.
He is. You know what he is? He's an adult. He's an adult.
I'll say this,
and I think that Stars have missed that for a while.
Game 2, I don't know how Corey Perry gets away with whacking the shit out of our goalie, and Sam Girard walks away with a penalty. But that's not why we lost. I wanted to bring that up because he totally just whacked the shit out of our goalie after the play. But that's not why we lost. That's not why we lost. We lost 5-2, but the swing was after that. Ian Cole took the dumbest penalty, checking Joe Pavelski in the back. It was so stupid, and the game was actually tight at that.
As an Ian Cole podcast, we have to admit that was dumb.
We love Ian Cole, but that was incredibly stupid.
Yeah.
This podcast is super pro Ian Cole, and that was incredibly stupid. Incredibly stupid. That swung the game.
Right.
And still, game 2 was so frustrating because we have 40 shots on net. and we lost 5-2. So Dallas outplayed us. They did. They've outplayed us for the majority of the series. We're down 2-1, and we'll see how Game 4 plays out. But yeah, I'm confident.
I am too.
We'll see how.
I am too. I don't want to keep bringing this up, but I think having a couple of days off only helps the more talented teams.
Sure, because dude, you have to, I mean, you've talked about it. It's
it's
the momentum shift is huge, especially in a game like hockey. Momentum is everything.
It's
almost.
And this series, the scheduling for the bubble has been weird. And I say different than anything we're used to. And now you're looking at a back-to-back. So. Right. Game 4 is how serious are Game 4s usually? Because if you're looking at a Game 4, unless we're looking at a sweep. Jesus Christ. If you're looking at a sweep scenario, it's one thing, but usually it's the series is going back and forth. I think this game, the winner of this game, I think. This is such a hack take. Jesus, I don't want to say it. I think the winner of Game 4 is probably going to win the series. If the Avs tie it up.
I agree.
I think the Avs are a team that's capable of tying it up on Game 4, winning on Monday, making it 3-2, putting the Dallas Stars back against the wall.
I think they'll adapt.
Hope so. We'd look pretty dumb if the Stars just won these next 2 games handily. It was pretty dumb.
Hey man, the Stars are a good team. I want to give the Stars credit. The Stars are a very good team.
We have to wake up to just how good the Stars blue line is, and their ability.
Trent has said that in previous episodes.
He has, and I haven't. Admittedly,
I said that last week. I said the Stars blue line is the best blue line in the league. It is. It's the best blue line in the league.
I didn't believe you. I don't watch many Stars games. I'm sorry. I'll apologize.
You believe me now?
The way they move the puck vertically, guys.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, we're at that point.
Yeah, you're fine. The Stars blue line is the best blue line in the league, my opinion.
They haven't slowed the Avs down, but it's not as wide open as it usually is. I'll say that. Because the Avs are still fast.
Okay, this might sound biased, but I don't think anyone can slow the Avs down.
No.
You just have to, just deflect them. I don't know.
Yeah, that's a good way of putting it.
Yeah.
The shots have to be somewhat low percentage. You got to win faceoffs when you get the chance. It's got to be shit like that.
All right, so we've talked about all the matchups.
I can't believe
It's about to. We're gonna close out here with closing thoughts / life lessons with Austin Carr. Austin, takes of the week. Take everything we've talked about this week, culminate into one. What can we walk away with? God, we love having you here.
Takes for the week. Again, another week of pretty damn good hockey in August, so I'm pretty happy. And we've touched on this before. Obviously, there hasn't been any hockey the last few days, and we all have a responsibility to think about, what's happening in the world out there. And obviously, as per our discussions, we do take that very seriously. But I'm looking forward to more hockey. And if we're talking life advice, I had a topic I wanted to just share with everybody here listening to Lunch Pail Hockey that's not really hockey related. Just, with COVID still going a little rampant here, I just wanted, and the people, not being able to go to the gym and whatnot, you still have to stay active. You got to get a good workout in. That would be my advice for this episode. At the beginning of the pandemic, I was out of shape. I was still kind of just not really feeling it. But, after a few weeks and months of grinding out some exercises, even if it's just push-ups or whatever you got access to. Get a sweat in. It'll do wonders for your body. That's my life advice for this week. Get a sweat in. Start working out. And that's really all I have to say.
I can't even begin to describe how much I love the conclusion of this episode. That's incredible. That's incredible. So yeah. Okay, Cara, I'll be talking to you. Man. I'm so proud of you, man. I'm getting
Thanks,
emotional here.
Thanks,
All right.
man. Thanks, man.
Yeah.
Thanks for giving me the opportunity, you know.
Yeah, man, anytime. Grant, you got
No, I love
Yeah.
where he's at. Guys, this has been. I'm not gonna ruffle any feathers of this, but like I think we do this because we really do love each other and we love hockey. I think these past 3 hours at this point,
6 minutes.
we have
6
gone.
minutes.
We have gone through so much together, and I have enjoyed this conversation. I really do love where we're going. I look forward to these Friday nights more than anything. It's blown away my expectations.
Me too, dude. I have to say, I love it. And that concludes this week's episode of Lunch Pail Hockey. Hope all our listeners out there enjoyed our topics of discussion. We're going to try and get this episode out to you guys on Sunday at some point, and we're going to try and consistently upload new episodes every Sunday. In the meantime, give us a follow on Twitter at LunchPail, and also check us out on Spotify, and we also started to upload to YouTube as well. So thank you for listening all, and we'll see you guys next week.